Welcome everybody, Mike Vaccaro here along with CB McGrath, the new head coach of the men's basketball team, a special presentation of the Seahawk Digital Network as we get to learn more about the new coach here at UNCW. And Coach, I know you had the press conference yesterday, that's behind you here, and let's go back to Monday though, when you found out that you were the choice to get this job. You have that, then you had the national championship game Monday night. What was Monday night like for you?
It was a heck of a night, obviously. I said in the press conference that was, all those players' dreams come true, and I had a great time watching them win it. But my dream came true early that day when I was approved or named the next head coach here at UNC Wilmington.
And obviously you had the scout, as you mentioned, for Gonzaga for that national championship. What was it like to kind of stay focused knowing that this job was waiting for you here?
Yeah, it was tough. I just put my head in the computer, had a bunch of games. I just kept on watching film because I didn't want to feel on my conscience that I shortchanged them by thinking elsewhere. And I knew there was really nothing I could do currently on the job for UNC Wilmington. So it was easier than I thought it was going to be focused. And I just kept on watching film because I want to make sure that, if they had a play after a timeout, that I wanted to know it.
Well, the 11th head coach now here in school history. And as you said yesterday at your press conference, this is kind of a dream job for you. You've looked at this position a couple of times previously. Why is UNCW for you a great fit?
It was just a feeling. The first time I ever came here and sort of walked through Trask, and Coach Wainwright was the coach, and we went through his offices because my sister-in-law was the tennis coach here at the time. And just started following him from afar because I was still at Kansas. And then Coach Burnell took over, and I knew Brad. And so, I don't know, it was just a feeling. And as I looked at more jobs, when I felt I was ready to be a head coach and looked around, the community's great place to raise a family, university. There has been a line of success. Kevin's done a great job these last few years, so it's just sort of been a no-brainer for me. I just always wanted the job. It was just a feeling.
As you said, great success leading into this, and maybe better position here than it was a couple of years ago. So looking at that and seeing the potential to continue this on, how big of a factor was that for you?
That was a non-factor, really. I was just as interested previously. I just think it was a job that I really wanted, that I could be successful at, and it makes it easier, sure. I mean, it's hard to instill winning in kids, and so they're coming off 2-3 winning seasons in a row, and that helps, as opposed to trying to get them the confidence that they can win. And so we got to move forward. We can't think about the last few years. We can learn from that experience, and obviously any kind of transition there's going to be some sort of change, and things are different, but it helps.
Let's talk about you as far as getting to this point. Again, you went to Kansas, played for Roy Williams there on his staff. At what point in your career or in your life did you realize that you wanted to go into coaching? This is a role you wanted to have?
Yeah, I think my senior year in college, I realized I wanted to do something in athletics. And the year after I graduated, Coach Williams called and offered me a job. I started working for him. And I think about 2 or 3 years in working for him, I realized I really wanted to coach. Because just the impact you can have on kids. I understand the game. I enjoy the game. I enjoyed my position, even though I was in a non-coaching role. But I can envision myself enjoying the coaching role. And so obviously when I did become an assistant coach, and I loved the scouting, I liked the recruiting, just the things that you have to do a lot of, I liked. And I put in my time, and I think eventually I felt ready to be a head coach, and it's been a few years that I've felt that, and finally I get my opportunity.
And again, as you mentioned yesterday in the press conference, Roy Williams is a big part of your life. You're 41 years old, 23 years spent with him, either as a player, as you said, on his staff as well. What kind of an influence, and can you explain the influence that he has on you?
Really can't. Obviously you spend a better part of every day for the last 23 years with somebody. They're going to have a huge influence on your life. And I mean, what a great person to have a huge influence on your life. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's a great person, very successful, very caring, treated me like I was part of his family. And so there's so much, that I owe him and thankful for, but I can't really put it into words.
What was his selling point to you as far as this job, and his advice to you about this job as well?
When it came open again, he said, I'm assuming you still have an interest in Wilmington. I was like, yes. He's like, okay, I'm going to make a call for you. And I said, I appreciate it, Coach. And so we didn't really talk much about it other than the interactions that we were having with certain people. And but he, and I said it before, I'm going to lean on him for advice more now that I am a head coach than any kind of advice that he gave me about the job. He knew it was a good job, and he knew that I wanted the job. And so there's really no advice you need to get other than his advice was make sure you tell him that you want the job. I said, I took care of that.
Well, certainly things will be different for you going from the assistant to the head coach. How do you think, or how have you heard that things are going to be different for you, just moving over that one seat?
Yeah, and coach says all the time, I was in a position of giving suggestions, and now you make decisions. And, you got to live with that because some of my suggestions I gave to him, he might have never used. Some that he did use that didn't work out, I knew they didn't. So there's a lot of things that, that one seat over makes a big difference.
Again, you're on the job less than a week, obviously, here coming off of that national championship victory. But what are some of the things you're doing early on here? Do you think you need to do early on here to again, put your stamp on this program?
Yeah, it's obviously a recruiting period. And, with our roster, I got to recruit some of the kids that are here. I got to go find some kids that are going to come in and play for us next year. I got to get a staff together. Got to meet everybody around the athletics department, out in the community. There's really not going to be a lot of dead time, and me sort of twiddling my thumbs thinking, what do I do next? I don't really have to think about that. There's always something to do next. You
mentioned the staff. I know you're putting a staff together. What are you looking for in a staff that you're putting together?
Guys that are really eager, get out there, recruit, that are proven, that I know, that know me, that I trust, that trust me, because we're a staff, and everything that they do reflects on me. Everything that I do affects them, so we got to be in it together, and they have to know me, and I have to trust them.
And you mentioned yesterday as well your style and going out and recruiting. What's kind of your pitch to these kids now coming to UNCW and what you're trying to do here?
Yeah, I'm going to tell them we're going to play fast. I don't like to walk the ball to the court, and the faster you play, the more shots you get, the more minutes you play, those kind of things, the more people can play. I like to give them freedom, but we're going to be disciplined. We're going to take good shots, but I think you can give them freedom and still take good shots as long as they know what good shots and bad shots are. Having the back-to-back conference championships, things like that always helps. I know I wasn't the head coach then, but there is a line of success that you can sell because kids want to win. Kids want to play and kids want to win. And I have a track record as an assistant that, I can show them both.
You mentioned yesterday Trask Coliseum as well, which the fans have returned. This has become a tough place to play once again in the conference. What did you see from that standpoint, and what attracted you to the facility that you said is going to be a destination place to come to?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. The upgrades they've had and the video board and all sort of things from the last time I was in there. I mean, I'm excited. Hope the students really look forward to coming out and all the other fans. But it can be an intimidating atmosphere, and that's what you want your home crowd to be. You want to make it so the opposing team knows that they're going into Trask and know it's going to be a tough place to win.
Obviously, people want to know who's going to be playing in there, what your opponents, and I know obviously that's another job, getting a schedule together here. Folks want you to play North Carolina obviously as well, but what can you tell us about, the direction that you look at as far as a schedule and what you're trying to put together?
Yeah, well, obviously Jimmy and I will talk. We want to upgrade the schedule, and I got a lot of good friends in the business. Just being at North Carolina, ACC opponents, stuff like that. I have a lot of friends, and just want to upgrade the schedule. Get some teams in here that are going to, get a lot of interest, and bring the fans in to see those teams or to see us beat those teams. And looking forward to it, and then we'll see where it goes.
Speaking of the schedule as well, the conference, the CAA, the Seahawks, again, as you said, winning championships the last couple of years. What do you know about the league as far as some of the teams that you'll be competing against and some of the different coaches that you'll be going up against as well?
Yeah, I see the coaches down the road. I know them more than I know their styles of play, just because we haven't played against that many teams in the CAA while I've been a scout. But obviously, when conference season gets closer, I'll pay more attention to that. But they're a great group of coaches. I'm sure they all have different kinds of styles, just based on their personalities from what I know of them. So I'll figure all those kind of styles and stuff out as it goes, but I'm more worried about our style.
Most important question, you're in Chapel Hill for as long as you were, talking to your family about this opportunity. What was that like, and that discussion that you had with your wife and your kids as well?
Yeah, I told my wife when it opened, I wanted to get it again, and she had to be all in, and she was all in from the get-go. And we didn't say a single thing to the kids until I got the job. And I was always worried about that because they're at the age that they have friends, and they realize that they're going to move. And they were born in Chapel Hill. They've only lived in one house, but they seem excited. Obviously, they were upset thinking that they weren't going to see their friends, but they're only 2 hours up the road. But they're excited to find a new house and get down here, and they were here yesterday running around. I mean, they're totally fine. It was easy.
As you said, you vacationed down here before, so I'm sure that was an easy sell from that standpoint.
Yeah, they like the beach.
Well, CB McGrath, congratulations on this new opportunity. I know Seahawk fans everywhere are looking forward to what's to come here for you and for this team as well.
Thank you very much.
Again, with CB McGrath, new head coach of men's basketball here at UNCW, I'm Mike Vaccaro. Thanks for joining us today on this Seahawk Digital Network exclusive.